to do something.
104.7 The K, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens, Dark Side of the Stream. As you can see, he's not an alien. It's Jay Stevens. Regardless of what we would like you to believe, he is a human being, and myself, possibly. We could all be from aliens, to be honest with you, if you believe the comet crashing on the the world, and that had proteins on it,
or if you want to go down more rabbit holes, the aliens intervened on monkeys and stuck us with some stuff.
Did you ever watch Battlestar Galactica?
No.
God, you should. It's one of the best space dramas of all time, the newer one.
How can you say that as a Star Trek fan?
Because Star Trek's great, but Battlestar Galactica is unbelievably awesome. We should watch that because the ending also has something to do.
Nothing's better than Star Wars.
Yeah, it depends. All right, so this week on Dark Side of the Stream, episode 126, it was my pick, and it was Jay's pick. Excuse me, you're evens, I'm odds. Jay picked the documentary Moment of Contact, which tells the story of essentially what could be described as the Roswell incident in Brazil.
Perfect time, because there's a lot of talk about UFOs in the news and stuff, and the government talking about it. So it's perfect time for us to get one step closer.
My first question to you is, how much did you love hearing the name of that town over and over again? Virginia. I was like, oh my God, keep saying it. Please keep saying it. I loved it.
There was a few key moments. There was that. I loved that they erected a massive UFO in the center of their town.
It's like what Roswell's done. Yeah, for sure.
And I did and I found the interpreter girl that he hired.
Dude, oh my God. Let's go. Yes.
Oddly sexy.
Jay and I have something in common.
If I'm going down there to hire an interpreter, I'm hiring her.
Let's go.
But her hair extensions were a little bit wacky.
I wasn't looking at the hair, man. I'll tell you. I wasn't looking at the hair, dude. That is hilarious that you say that, because that was gonna be one of the things I talked
like, dude.
That body.
I was in. Yeah, that body is banging. I'm in, man. I'm in.
I don't want to get into it too much.
Moment of contact.
Because I'm married to a woman of Hispanic descent, by the way.
She won't. So she doesn't watch this. She doesn't watch this. So you're good. You can confess. You can confess.
She may not watch it, but she listens for sure. But yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly that guy was like, oh, we're gonna.
This is the interpreter.
He had the photos out, and he goes,
"That's the.
I want her.
I want her."
She was amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, I loved that girl. I thought she was awesome. But there was so much more to the documentary.
Yeah, the documentary is about aliens. So
than the hot chick they had translating Brazilian Portuguese, which we'll talk about next when we return. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The K. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 126, Moment of Contact, which, by the way, you can watch for free on Plex if you have a Roku
Mike
TV
hooked up the bootleg stream.
But it was awesome. Again, if you are into UFOs and first contact stuff, this is a really cool documentary. I'd never heard about this story before.
I hadn't either.
And considering the fact that there was so much witness testimony, supposed evidence, that you would think that this actually would be talked about more. But again, it's another country and all these things happen a lot. But essentially the story goes that there was a cylinder-looking spacecraft that was crashing near a town called Virginia in Brazil. Cigar-shaped, classic, shape of a UFO, but they all described that the back of it was like burning and had like a smoke coming off of it. It looked like it was injured. It was losing altitude. Then it crashed. And then immediately there are sightings of two beings, one caught in the woods, one caught in the city. They both supposedly got out of the spacecraft and took off. The first incident where they captured the one in the woods, the army guy who caught him, physically restrained him, died within a week.
Okay, so this is where I had the first question. If you see something crazy,
I'm not touching it, man.
I'm not touching it either.
I'm not touching it, dude.
I mean, unless it's attacking me or it's attacking my kid. I'm not gonna grab this thing
touching it.
because it's looking slimy, they said, and stuff.
Not touching it.
No, that was
Red
a weird
eyes,
move.
Little guy, green, oily skin.
That part was like, wow, you're really gonna do, like, if it's attacking you, cool, or cutting your kid, then you engage. But You don't just engage something like that, man.
They his family was on the documentary, and they still believe his death because they couldn't explain. He just got an infection.
Instantly
and died.
got him poisoned or whatever. Right? Yeah.
And so then his CO, they actually finally tracked him down because no one's talked to him since the incident. They found his farm somewhere in Brazil, tracked him down. He's basically like, I'm not talking to you. If you don't get off my property, I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah.
So that's
crazy,
that.
Right?
Yeah.
There were so many things that was like,
he was
God,
scared
the story
still
just
about
seems
it.
so true. Just the way everybody talks about it. And like that guy, it wasn't, he'd be like, you guys are crazy, man. That never had. No, but the way he acted like that, I was like,
he was scared.
Wow, he had something to hide.
He was scared or didn't want to deal with Americans. But either way, I mean, they had the hot Brazilian chick. So hopefully she would have been a bridge.
Let her in at least.
Come on, look, yeah, get her in here. But no, he died and that guy didn't want to talk about it. The other incident involved 3 little girls who were walking home in the city and they came across it, and their interaction was interesting because they described it as it looked like it was hot and it's scared because it was hot, so that the environment probably was messing with it. The military ended up capturing it somewhere in the city. But they don't talk about this in the documentary. I want to bring this up because they did talk about it in the news reports because I did my research after. I was like, there's got to be more to this.
Mike went further down rabbit holes.
One of them claimed that they were impregnated by it by just merely looking at it in that interaction. They ended up getting
similar to me. Don't look me in the eyes, ladies. I'm starting to like this alien. I'm starting to like this alien guy.
Just, hey, if you don't,
ladies,
don't look me in the eyes
because you might get impregnated.
But they went as so far, and we can talk about the Men in Black situation on down the line. But that was the other incident. They had another guy who is still in the military who described moving these things around Brazil until eventually they took it to a small research facility out in the middle of nowhere. United States Air Force plane comes in, carts all of it up, including the bodies, takes it back to the United States, and let it, in his perspective, was that Brazil had no way of legitimately testing whatever this was or what it could be. They didn't have the technology. The most they could do was x-rays. They had that guy who took the x-rays in there and said, yeah, I went in there, saw what I was looking at, was like, what the hell? Took the shots. They said, forget about what you saw and get out of here. So
and they didn't let him analyze the shots. He said he's never.
He's like, every time I'm just at least take a look to say, okay, these are right. They wouldn't even let me look at these. So that exists at least. He also describes a guy with a video camera in there. So there is video footage somewhere, but it could have all been destroyed. But again, the fallout after that was just as much interesting, I think, as kind of the story itself and at least how some of the players played. And we'll get to that next Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. .7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio at his Dark Side of the Stream, episode 126, discussing Moment of Contact. So you got all these people that have seen this thing. The other interesting thing I thought was really cool is they tracked down this really affluent Brazil family that were doctors, right? Not because of what they saw like in the hospital where it was kept or the bodies were kept, but what they saw after the crash, which was another sighting of another ship that came down and started searching the area for its downed ship.
Which is crazy. Right?
That in itself is nuts to me. Like they knew that it was like a reconnaissance mission. Right. They were like, get over there. Earl and Frank went off the deep end. We can't find them. They're on some rock in the Milky Way. We got to go get them. We don't know what the hell this developing country. We got to get them back. And then Frank and Earl, you idiots, you got drunk and you crashed the spaceship.
Yep.
You think that's what in my mind is like these two guys are out like just like doing like
it's not
thing.
Very probably with alien races as well as with human races.
You got the screw ups.
You got the screw ups, and they probably, hey, let's go back one more time. Let's go try and impregnate those girls with their eyes.
They got some. They're just flying around.
Brazil has hot
check
chicks.
It out, and
Brazilians have hot chicks. Let's head down there again.
Some Sputnik satellite.
Yeah.
See it. They're like, boom, like, Frank, what was that? I don't know, man. I didn't even see it. Came out of nowhere.
You never know.
Oh, we're losing altitude. Oh my God, we're gonna get fired, dude.
Like I said, the government is now saying that they have off-world vehicles. They have crashed vehicles that they're trying to figure out. They say they've admitted now that they have it. So the Pentagon says this stuff.
It blows my mind. But that interaction with that family I thought was really cool. And the idea of how this all played out after the events was just crazy.
Yeah, and how they made like the timeline and the map of where all it was going down.
Everything happened. And then
Wild.
after the fact, so then they get the Men in Black, and so then they kind of go, they break it up in the documentary about, you know, what these people went through and all their experiences, and then the aftermath, which included the mother of the 3 girls. She claims that a bunch of Men in Black visited her within a week of this happening, goes into her house, shuts the door, has a briefcase full of money, and says, if you guys learn to forget about this, shut up, take this money, spend it somewhere else, because it couldn't be spent in Brazil, which meant you got to get the hell out of the country. You'll be set for life. She said, no, I don't want to be a liar. My kids aren't liars. And then they still claim they face ridicule for this incident.
I'm sure they do,
26 years later, 27 years later. The guy who saw the crash, who followed it out and saw it on the farm, who got then escorted by gun off, said, I've been ridiculed by my family for 26 years.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of these people like Bob Lazar and guys like this that come forward with this information, that they're not like making their life better by saying these stories.
And they make money off
of it.
You're
not all you do is get bashed on it. But like the guy Travis Walton that got abducted or whatever and worked on, their lives do not get better from telling a story like this.
No, and the guy they had in the army, who was the driver that drove the bodies all around, that's what he said. He goes, look, I'm still in the military.
Yeah.
And now people ask me, like, I had this experience that people only dream of. He's like, I didn't want this experience. Yeah. It's caused me all kinds of problems.
Yeah, that's
what did I get from it? I'm just telling you what my story is. And he says, keep pushing. It's out there, which I thought was very interesting.
Which is happening now, which is good.
Which was really cool to see. And then the press conference held by the secret military in Brazil, where they're asking him about proving the facts, and he just turns around and is like, who do I have to prove to anything? You? I don't have to prove anything. Yeah. I said all I'm going to say, and then walks out. It's like,
gangster.
Yeah. And then the guy who saw the crash site, he said he got visited by the Men in Black. He was at a cafe. They come up to him and they go, are you so-and-so? And he goes, yeah. And they go, and your wife's this person? Yeah. And your kids are these people? Yeah. And he goes, yeah. And they go, don't say anything or there's going to be problems, and then walk away. I mean, what is he going to do? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's such a crazy story, but when you have so many witnesses describing the same thing in the same way,
and you've had it for since the dawn of man, you've had the same story. So it's good now that the government's being a little bit more open and talking about it and saying, look, there's something going on. We don't know what it is.
Because eventually one of these days, Frank and Earl are going to crash for real, and they won't be able to hide it.
Yeah, one time it's going to
it's going to happen, and it's going to be so big.
Still, there will be people that will say, no, it's fake. You know, it's that kept this. But one time, you're not going to be able to hide it. So I think that's why now they're slowly loosening up to the idea and talking about this UFO program and UAPs and showing videos and
who knows?
Man, it's a good time to be alive, brother.
Or scary as hell. We'll get to our reviews of this documentary next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike, the intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio one more time. Dark Side of the Stream, episode 126, Moment of Contact. So how many Little Green Men would you give this documentary?
A good 4.
Yeah, I would too.
I didn't know the story, and it was well done. I mean, again,
who's the narrator? That guy's been in other crime shows or something.
He's also released. It's because he looks like an actor. He looks like the dude from that does Simpsons voice and stuff like that.
I don't know who the narrator is.
God,
I'm looking. But no,
he has another great show about a recent documentary about UFOs as well. God, I forget the name of it. But anyway, he's deep in there with Jeremy Corbell and him are like the two main filmmakers.
Like he's got such a cool. I think he's got a really cool voice. Like it's I can't. They don't have it up here anywhere. It just has the dude's director's name. Which I didn't really like. Yeah. Honestly, if I had any knocks about this, it was the director guy wearing the scarves every day in Brazil. I was like, dude, what are you wearing a scarf for in Brazil, bro? You know how hot it is here, man.
Both him and Jeremy Corbell are.
She's like, dude, get the scarf off, bro.
A little too passionate about it,
but. Yeah, he was like, "Oh,
somebody has to be."
Hey, we went that far. We went that far
without a fumble. Oh, the aliens got me.
So yeah, he was so like, but tell me, through a translator, how it felt in the atmosphere of the room.
They get a little passionate, these UFO cats, man. But it's all right. It's all right. So yeah, I'll
ask the pretty lady the question. She'll ask him in Brazilian Portuguese, and
I'm going to Brazil.
Dude, speaking of political climates, I don't know if that's the best idea in the world right now. It's a
big jiu-jitsu community down there.
Come with some of your trained killers when you go. I would go down in a group of men that could handle business and dodge bullets because it's a little shaky. Moment of Contact, check it out. Jay's pick next. Oh no, it's my pick. And
you said you got a good one.
I got a good one. The Miss Cleo documentary on HBO Max. You remember the Miss Cleo commercials at like late night? She was like, "Call me now. I'll give you read your
fortune teller."
You don't remember that chick?
Yeah, I do remember.
Oh my God. Okay, so yeah, there's a documentary about her rise to fame, and then I guess her subsequent fall.
That always happens.
Yeah, I love psychics, dude. I can't wait to dive into this one. It's one movie, so it's not going to be like 10 episodes. But
good. I'm in.
I know that's also one of our. It's like, oh yeah, that sounds like, oh God, there's 10 episodes.
8 episodes.
I don't want to spend 10 hours watching this crap.
Perfect.
So stream it live Facebook, or watch it live Facebook every Thursday 9 a.m. You can stream it live on YouTube as well at the same time. I play at 9 a.m. Jay plays at 6 p.m. every Thursday. Stark side of the stream. I'm Mike the Intern. This is Jay Stevens reminding you we watch movies, so you don't have to. Stark side of the stream. I'm 104.7 The Cave.